A lot like a podcast. We finally made it back. We missed you while we were gone. I don't know where to go on, but welcome
to the Caffeinated podcast. Yeah,
we are finally back.
Delayed a little bit.
A few weeks.
Delayed a little bit by me. I'm not gonna lie. I had a pretty rough day yesterday, but we're all good.
Well,
we're all great.
I mean, let's do it this way. We told you all we were going to take a break, and I need to apologize first and foremost because I had great intentions of making cute little shorty videos to entice you all in, to give us lots of ideas, and I got sick and was down for about 4 days and then just completely blew my schedule out of the water.
Your schedule.
But we are glad to be back. We're going to be back for the next 3 weeks. Then we're going to take a little time off for Christmas and New Year's. And then we are going to come back at the first of the year, ready to rock and roll, ready to go as far as we can go with you all. And just have a good time.
Did we already set a date for that? I don't remember off the top of my head.
I think we were going to try to be back the first Monday in January.
So
that's what I understood.
Yes. So yes, we will be returning on the 3rd. So you've got 3 weeks of us. Or we apologize for the 3 weeks that you have of us, but then you will be missing us for 2 weeks.
Well, it is all about chaos.
You'll have the 6th, the 13th, and the 20th, but we will be off the 27th. No. We'll be off the 27th and the 3rd, coming back on the 10th, it looks like. Because we said we were doing 2 weeks, I think.
Yep. And again, guys, you know how it is. It's just the holidays. They're hectic. It's not that we necessarily want to take a break, but with some of the stuff that goes on in our family, we just actually need the break. That's all I'm going to say about that.
But
and for those of you that... Go ahead.
Before we get too far, okay, buddy, we need to introduce who we are. I'm BUBBZI. He's the beard. This is the show where positivity is the goal, but chaos happens to be our process.
Now, if this is your first podcast with us, we're sorry.
I am not sipping on any caffeine. That's probably a wise decision given where I'm at. But I'm also all over the place right now, as per our previous conversation before I hit the record button.
Yeah, it's just been a little bit weird. It's been that kind of thing. And, guys, we just want to have some fun for the holidays. We want to we thought we would jump in. But I need to say this. I know that a few of you have checked out the podcast. We have picked up a few more subscribers. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you. Tell your friends, hit the like button, hit the share button. Let them know just how nuts we are and how much fun they just might have if they come hang out with us. And we'll appreciate it. And I also know that some of you have checked out our great sponsors. Now, we're going to talk about both of them as we kind of go on. But for this one, we're going to highlight CustomBeardCo. So let's do it this way. If you haven't heard of CustomBeardCo, they're also known as CBC. Do you love your beard? Or maybe you love someone who has a beard? Or, maybe you like high level quality beard and skin products. Well, then you've come to the right place, because at CBC, at CustomBeardCo, you matter. They make high quality beard oils, beard butters, beard balms, and whipped body butters for your beard and your skincare regimen. They also make custom scents such as the Outlaw, which is my favorite at the moment, Executor, Forest Frost, and others. They also rotate other scents in from time to time, just to make you, the customer, happy. BUBBZI, did you know that all their products are 100% organic and contain no chemicals or dyes?
Yes, I did.
Everything is made to order. None of this sits around on the shelves, and they also provide free shipping. Now, we do have to put this warning in here. BUBBZI, can you read the warning for them? Would you let them know what's going on?
Warning, CustomBeardCo uses 100% all natural ingredients, which, even though it has no chemicals, may still cause skin irritation for some. So always be sure to test a little on the inside of your forearm.
Doesn't he have a really good radio voice? Just saying.
Oh, no.
So-
We want to talk about who has a good, nice radio voice. Okay, the
So-
beard. Okay,
Here, hang on. Almost done. So here's the thing. So when you head over to CustomBeardCo, you check out all their awesome products. Also, if you scroll down on their webpage to their blog spot, you'll also find out that they are partnering with Daryl Marston's Ghost Hunters to fight cancer. So when you buy any of the Entity products or the Entity beard kits, a portion of all the sales go directly to the American Cancer Society. There's also a link there if you would rather and just give through straight that way. But once you find some great products for yourself or maybe for your wife, they do have the body butter, I understand, is amazing. When you get to check out, just put in Caffeinated Beard and you get to 15% off any order $15 or more. And guys,
oh boy.
the Bearded House, we love the BeardCo products. I have some more on the way as we speak.
We love our beards.
But BUBBZI, just real quick, tell them a little bit about, just Coffeetarian, kind of hit the highlights about who they are.
Is it bad that I want to start out talking about Coffeetarian the same way we start out every single ad for them? Just because I've said it so many times, like,
Go for
That's right, coffee plus humanitarian. That's Coffeetarian.
There you go.
A portion of every single purchase you make from their store, that's Coffeetarian.store, goes to help their monthly partner.
I love the way he does that. Isn't it great? And again, if you go over to Coffeetarian, you check out their coffees. If you put in BEARD at checkout, you can save 10% off your first coffee order. And I promise you, when it comes to coffee, you will not be disappointed at all. So, BUBBZI, we're getting better at these ads, man. I mean, it's almost like we know what we're doing now.
Here's the thing. I just wish I had the skills of Eminem so that I could say ads like so fast like they do on the radio. It's like, oh my.
Yeah, we're not that good, and we don't talk that well. So,
see, here's the thing, and this may be shocking to some of you. Some of you may have heard this before, but your tongue does not fit perfectly within your mouth. Okay? It moves. It is a growing and shortening organism, a muscle. It contracts, it expands, but it does not actually fit perfectly within your mouth, which is why people get tongue-tied. I am one of those. Not only do I have a large head, I happen to have a large mouth and tongue. Sadly, the tongue is much bigger, so woo! I'm in pain.
I don't even know where to go after that.
It's probably a good thing you don't know where to go after that.
It's and just so you guys know, we have the next 3 weeks planned out. We actually know what we're planning on doing before we actually get ready to do the podcast. That's unusual for us.
It proves that the break was at least used semi-efficiently.
Come on. I mean, I think we did all this yesterday.
It was still part of the break.
As we were talking about it and we were getting ready to come back, we thought, what are we going to do? I mean, we are slap dab in the middle of the holiday season. So we decided to call this podcast, It's That Time Again. And we're going to talk about traditions. What is a tradition? How do they start? Why do they start? I mean, let's be honest. Are they important? And if so, why are they important? And then BUBBZI and I, we're going to talk a little bit about our favorite traditions that we have as a family. And hopefully you guys will drop in the comments some of your favorite traditions and why they're important to you. Because guys, you'll hear me say it at the end. You all are our podcast family. You're important to us. And we want to hear your thoughts, not just ours. And finally, we thought we would end up with some silly stuff and maybe talk about some funny traditions from around the world. And if you have some funny ones that you do that are just a little odd, I want to know, please. Thank you.
Well, the thing is, he says we'll end with some funny things. I think we've already gotten to some funny things, okay?
Well, you know what I'm saying, but I'm talking about tradition-wise. I wanted to end up, I'll give you a little teaser so that you maybe hang around to the end. One of them that I found earlier today involves a pickle. Yeah, think on that one for a little bit while we talk for the next few minutes.
I'm not sure if I want
Pickle,
to.
pickle.
Stop. See, what I was gonna say, it's not a caffeinated podcast if I don't bring it up. You could say that the funny things loop around as if they're stuck in a time loop.
Oh, goodness gracious. Him and his time theory. Somebody pray for me, please.
Hey.
Okay. All right. We got to get going, BUBBZI. We don't want to take up too much of their time. I'm seriously hoping that they're already laughing their butts off and having a good time already at us just being silly. I'm just going to say it. BUBBZI and I have talked about it. Guys, we've missed you.
Yes.
We enjoy this because it may be our podcast that we put together, but it is our podcast that we do together with you all. And we appreciate being invited into your office, your living room, your car, wherever the case may be. And we just hope that you get a little laugh, you get a little giggle, you get lifted up a little bit, and you have a better day. So let's do this. What exactly is a tradition? I can pull it up on Google and find out the definition. Wow, what's with the look, man?
People wonder where I get it from, okay? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm saying. People wonder where I get it from, and
Right.
I'll just send them this podcast. I'll send them this podcast.
Like I said, guys, I've been a little sick, so I'm a little extra caffeinated and a little extra. I went to the doctor today, so I'm a little extra medicated. So, but what is it, BUBBZI? In your definition, we don't want the
I've already got it.
definition.
I've already got it ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All right,
I'm
go
ready.
for
I'm
it.
ready. Throwing me under the bus.
Oh, that's definitely a tradition. I've been doing that since you were 2.
Well, there's that, but also like on the podcast, like, the first question's coming up. You would have a great answer for that.
Well, yeah,
BUBBZI.
you got to have the first question, man.
Why? Why?
Because I said so.
Wow.
And I'm the beard.
The only thing I'm thinking, I started saying it like that. Now the only thing I can think of is Owen Wilson just going, "Wow."
No, but seriously, what do you think? Again, this is just your definition. This is your opinion. What do you think makes a tradition?
I would say something that is done regularly. Now that can be anywhere from annually, monthly, hourly, but technically a tradition is something that is usually repeated, and then sometimes it's repeated even though the purpose is no longer needed sometimes.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ooh.
Well, it's my grandmother's been gone a while now. And
R.I.P.
Christmas time is always a little hard for me. I have on numerous occasions been called a Grinch because I tend to get a little down at Christmas time. I don't really get, oh, it's Christmas time. Yay. No. But, I miss some of the things that we used to do. I do kind of miss the family dinners, to be quite honest with you, because that was a tradition. Let's just say it. My grandmother cook, right? And we would have the big family Christmas dinner, usually on Christmas Eve, and she would be cooking all day long, and she would be making the turkey, and she would be making this awesome ham, and it's just, as much as she liked to complain about it, you could tell she enjoyed every minute of it because she was taking care of her family. That was the tradition that meant most to her, was taking care of her family. So that's one of the things I really miss. Let's be honest, family dinners make us tired. Family dinners make us wear us out. But guys, like I said, we're in the middle of the holiday season. Spend time with your family because they may not be here next year. And I promise you, you'll miss them when you're gone. My dad, if you've listened to any of the podcasts, he passed away earlier this year. This is going to be the first Christmas where we haven't tried to find the perfect University of Kentucky gift or some good coffee or something, and spend a few hours with him and as much as we can at Christmas.
No random Merry Christmas text at 3 a.m.
Well, yeah, the three. Yeah, he'd like to be the first one to wish you Merry Christmas, so he got up
Whew.
really early. You know, or I should be saying I probably need to make some Christmas pimento cheese for my stepmother. She probably would really appreciate that. That's a tradition that she likes. But I
I
mean, you know, so I'm just saying, enjoy them.
I don't think
Enjoy
it's just her that likes it though. You gotta understand. Okay, the beard makes really good pimento cheese. I'm talking really good, so much so that it is asked for at every single family thing that we do. That includes birthdays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Shoot, I'm sure somebody probably has requested as a Valentine's Day gift at this point. It is that requested. I'm not joking. I don't know why. It's great.
See, now I need to get a mold and put it in to send it for Valentine's Day in the shape of a heart. I'm just saying.
Which, what temperature would it have to be to stay in the heart? The heart shape?
I don't know. But no, I
Question.
mean, that's the thing. You know, you all will have your own definitions of what a tradition is. You know, and let's be honest. The simple question to how do they start is it's like BUBBZI said. It's something that you always do.
It's repetition.
That you've always seen it done. It's repetition. It's something that, you know, like for me, one of the things I always used to do at Christmas time is I always tried to pull a gag or a joke on my grandmother. Like one year after the wife and I got married, I went out and bought this plastic flower pot, washed it up, cleaned it up really good, and made what you would call dirt cake. And if you haven't had dirt cake, I highly recommend it. It's made out of crushed Oreos and a bunch of other stuff. It's really, really good. But my thing is I filled the flower pot with the dirt cake, and then I cleaned up the bottom of a plastic poinsettia, stuck it in the middle of it so that it looked like a centerpiece, and set it on her table. And we're sitting there eating, and we're just about done. I'm like, man, you know, I don't know what it is. I'm just not feeling right today. I have a craving. I feel like I need something. And I stuck my spoon in that flower pot and stuck it in my mouth. I thought she was going to jump up off her stool and smack me all the way back to, you know, infancy or whatever. It was the absolute best joke I ever played on her, hands down. So, you know, maybe you have something like that, you know? BUBBZI, you know what one of ours is that we always do at Christmas, right?
Which one?
The chocolate gravy.
Well, I see here of recent years, I would say it's putting up very tiny trees.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of space, so yeah, tiny trees, but they're fun.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. They're so cute and whatever. Plus, you can get those ones where it's like the fiber optic lights, and you're just like...
Well, and you know, and if you think about it this way too, Bubs, how do you know the tiny tree tradition? Maybe that'll be something that you take onto your first apartment or
the TTT,
whatever, you know?
the tiny tree tradition, the alliteration.
Yeah, I like
it
that.
just
Triple
works.
T. Triple T. We'll have to remember that. But you know, and like you said, everything is repetition. It's watching somebody do something. I heard a story years ago, and young lady, she got married, and she was fixing Christmas dinner for her husband the first time, and she had bought a ham, and she brought it into the kitchen, and she cut both ends off the ham, threw them away, stuck it in the pot, and started cooking. And he's like, "Why did you cut the ends off and throw them away?" She's like, "Well, you know, that's the way my mother always fixed them." She said, "I've always done that." So he goes, "But why do you do it?" She goes, "I don't really know. It's just the way my mother, you know, always did it." So she calls her mother and she goes, "Mom, you know, we're wondering about this thing about how you cook the ham and you cut the ends off and throw them away. Why do you do that?" She goes, "Well, that's just the way your grandmother always did it. You know, that was the way I was always seen to do it." So it got to the point that they called the grandmother and it's like, you know, "Hey, Grandma," said, "we're wondering about the ham. Why do you cut the ends off and throw the ham away? You know, throw it away and just cook that part of the ham." She goes, "Well, you know, when, you know, your grandfather and I first got married, we didn't have a lot of money." And she said, "Our first few Christmases together, and, you know, for a long time, we didn't have a lot of money. And the only pan that I had to cook the ham in wouldn't fit the ham unless I cut the ends of the ham off. So it wasn't anything other than grandma trying to fit it into a pan, but it went from grandma to daughter to granddaughter. And everybody thought you were supposed to cut the ends of the ham off just to fix the ham." So, I mean, you know, I think it's a funny story. I think it's great. I would have passed it on to my child and just kept it going forever.
Hi, I'm his child.
Right. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean?
No.
See, he tells me when I point, you talking. And when I tell him to talk, he just goes, what?
What?
I'm just, yeah, I know. But I mean, that's the thing. It could be anything, right? I mean, I know some people who eat Chinese food for Christmas.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. I understand this tradition, and it is a very efficient manner. Okay, especially for our family, it makes sense. Here's why. Our family does Christmas breakfast. Okay, by the time you fix Christmas breakfast, and you'll probably eat on it for lunch, just knowing what happens. But by the time that happens, you no longer want to cook dinner, and the only thing that's open is Chinese. What do? You eat Chinese food for Christmas. It's simple, it's efficient, and it works, okay? Don't question
I don't
it.
know about y'all, but I'm all in for the hot and sour soup. I'm
Oh
just
my
saying.
gosh, man.
No, most people in my family do not like the hot and sour soup but me, but I think it's amazing.
It's
I
okay.
will tell you this on
It's
a side
okay.
note that it is a cure-all for me. I mean, if you got a cold, eat you some of this stuff, it'll sweat it out of you. That's all I'm going to say. But BUBBZI, do you think, I mean, to you, I mean, because this is us sharing our lives, our opinions, right? Do you think that traditions are important and why?
Ooh.
I know it's kind of a big question, but not. I mean, do you think they're important? Should we just do away with them, or should we keep them because of the memories?
Well,
You see what I'm saying?
like I said for part of the definition, it's something that you do repetitively. But sometimes it's redundant because it's no longer necessary. Same thing goes with the ham story. You don't need to cut the sides off. I mean,
I know, but it's a great story to tell
it
to
is
everybody at Christmas.
it is a great story. But see, it's semi-redundant, I guess. Now, sometimes repeating things can be a bad thing. Sometimes repeating things could be a good thing. It's kind of really just depends on what it is.
I got you.
But it also is, what does it mean to you and the person that is also participating in the tradition. Like, I have traditions like I play games online with friends all over the world. It is a very interesting thing, but usually, like on New Year's, I hop on my computer after New Year's has gone off and like, guys, let me tell you about the future. This is people who are like 3 hours behind me. Like, they're not really in the past, but like, guys, guess what I just experienced?
Did you notice that he just put time theory into this again?
You're welcome. I told you, it's not a podcast without it, okay? It's not a podcast without time theory, okay? You could say that this podcast is timeless.
I'm going to let that one go. But
don't worry, I marked it so I can put it up later.
But I see what you're saying, and sometimes, yeah, it's kind of that can seem redundant. But when it comes to, and again, this is just my opinion, guys. And please, again, always feel free to share what you think about our opinions and all that stuff in the comments. You know, we want you to like it. We want you to comment. We want you to share. You know, we want this podcast to become a huge family of friends that we can talk about stuff and we can lift each other up and make each other stronger. That's kind of the goal. But I get what you're saying, Bubs. I really do. But some of the traditions, the family stuff, redundant or not, they have to stick around, right? Because
chocolate gravy.
Well, the chocolate gravy, especially. I mean, come on, it's just good. That's beside the point. But what I'm saying is, it's the history that is tied to the tradition. It is reminding ourselves where we came from and why. And I mean, I'll use the ham story as an example. Grandma said it was because the only pot she had to cook in wasn't big enough to hold the ham. That meant that, you know, they didn't have a lot, but things had changed. You know, the family had grown, things had gotten better. But it doesn't hurt to remember that, you know, things weren't always that great. But because of what so-and-so did, or that person that was there, whether it was grandma or grandpa, or, you know, Aunt Joe or Aunt Sue or who, it doesn't matter. You know, doing something to honor them, even just a silly little tradition. I mean, I hope at some point when things go whichever way they go, that somebody takes my pimento cheese recipe and continues to make it, because in some small way, what I'm getting at is that every family get together after that it's there. So am I. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's bringing those who aren't with us anymore into today.
That's legacy,
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I just think it's cool. And I think that's why traditions are important.
Yeah.
I think, who was it that said, that those who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it?
Okay, stop. Our heads are linked right now. We need to back up.
Well, but
I
what
just
I'm
didn't want to
saying is-
interrupt. I didn't want to interrupt, and then
No,
you just.
go ahead. No, you do it. Go for it.
I was gonna be like, it's time for quotes with Bubs.
Go for it.
And then he just says the exact same quote I'm thinking. Like, oh my
Well-
gosh, our brains are linked.
We have to what I'm getting at with this, again, this is to me why it's important, is we have to remember where we came from. We have to remember who we came from and who was a part of making us who we are.
Right.
To me, that is the ultimate importance of tradition, period. Because again, there were things that have happened in the past that we shouldn't repeat. And maybe the tradition should be to remember not to make the same mistake again. Right. So, I don't want to get too maudlin or too deep to this way, but I really didn't realize that this holiday season was going to hit me this hard when Dad passed. Right. I mean, I remember when my grandmother passed, but I was with her since I was 9 months old. A little bit different. So it's just weird thinking I'm not going to get that 4 a.m. text message. Merry Christmas. That was his tradition. You ask any of my sisters, well, most of them, I'm assuming he did the same thing to all of them. I don't have evidence of that. But, that early morning, that was his thing. Wanting to be the first one to do whatever. That was his tradition.
Well, and it was group chats a lot of the time. So then,
Right.
then you have to understand, you got the few people who would wake up to the text and who would read it and then forget about it. That was usually me. Like, I'd sometimes wake up to it and forget to answer. Did that a couple times. And then he'd message me separately, like, hey, did you see my text?
Yeah.
Like, but everybody would start responding as they wake up. And it's just like, woo!
Merry Christmas.
Of course, then this was before. It's a good thing I didn't have a phone at some points as a young child when those texts were happening, because just imagine me like repeating like the first day of, what was it, elementary school or whatever. I woke up at 3 a.m., got dressed, and woke my parents up saying, hey, I'm ready to go to school. Like, imagine I did that with Christmas.
Go to bed, man.
Imagine I did that with Christmas. Okay, bro.
Yeah.
Of course, we're not even like, oh, dude, we got to talk about some crazy Christmas stories, like gifts that totally blew your mind or something like that at some point.
We'll throw that in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Because that's I do know that there are certain families who have the tradition of giving, at least one or two gag gifts every year, which I think is hilarious. I will, and this is not talking out of school and it's not being vulgar or anything, but I do remember when one of my uncles gave another one of my uncles a pack of Viagra for Christmas.
All right.
And you have to understand, the one that was on the receiving end is extremely quiet. He's extremely reserved. I don't think I've ever in my lifetime seen him embarrassed except at that moment, because the entire family was there and he was just kind of like, So again, what's some of your funny ones? What's some of your weird ones? BUBBZI, what's some of your favorite traditions that we do?
Obviously, we got to talk about the chocolate gravy. Oh my
Go for it, baby.
Lord.
Go for it.
I think we've covered this, I believe, on numerous episodes. I believe we've went into depth, I think, on one as far as like I think it was like our food episode.
I mean, it's not like we look like guys who would enjoy chocolate gravy.
Here's the thing.
Just
I would
saying.
love to be a much thinner man. I would. I think there would be a lot of benefits to that. Food needs to stop tasting so good. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
If you've never had chocolate gravy, you can basically probably put it on anything. But in our household, it is used a lot on biscuits.
Big old buttery Grands
yes.
biscuits, one of them big, one of them that would choke a horse kind of biscuits. You know what I'm saying? Sorry.
Perfectly crunchy
getting
on the
hungry, aren't
outside.
you?
Yes. Here's the thing. It's dinner time. We ain't ate yet. Okay.
Yeah,
We're recording the
we haven't eaten
podcast. We're on the grind.
Well, see, here's one of the things
It's about
the
drive.
chocolate
It's
gravy.
about power. We stay hungry.
I've heard it's a Southern thing, kind of. That's more of a Southern dish.
Wow, it's like that's where we're
But
from.
I lived in Kentucky my whole life and had never heard of chocolate gravy until I met Mama Beard and we started dating and started doing the holidays together. I can remember still very fondly the very first Christmas when they go, "Would you like some chocolate gravy?" And I'm like, "Chocolate what?"
Chocolate who
And they're
now?
like, "Well, you do this and you do that. You put it on biscuit." And I'm like, "Chocolate what?"
You had me at chocolate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, okay, we're going to try this. And then, of course, the other part of the tradition is the argument over who gets to make the chocolate gravy on Christmas morning.
Yeah, because everybody wants it, but no one wants to make it for some reason.
Yep.
And it's
And
usually
then you have go ahead.
it's usually because they've already ate at this point. Like usually it'd be
True.
different if they hadn't already ate and they were already like, oh, that was good,
And of course, the funny part is the inevitable argument. Nobody wants to make it. Okay, who's going to make it? And then once somebody decides they're going to make it, then you have the argument over who makes the better chocolate gravy.
Well, no. Then it's the argument over how many hands are in the single pot making chocolate gravy, because then they're all like, you're not doing this right. You need to add this. You need to do that. So they're all making it together as a family, but it's all arguments. It's almost like they're talking about politics, but here's the thing. It's all about love
Almost
this
like
time.
they're playing Rook.
See, okay, here's the thing. There's two things you don't bring up in the bearded household as far as extended family. That's Rook and politics, okay? Now, Rook tends to be a lot more serious than politics, I'd say.
Yeah, the arguments are a little bit harder sometimes over Rook than they are politics. That's true.
Yeah, and it's usually between loved ones, and it's usually they don't really care about who their enemies are. They're more likely to yell at their partner playing Rook.
That's so.
Oh gosh, it gets explosive. Here's the thing. I can play Rook. Don't enjoy playing Rook as I am a digital boy. But oh my gosh, can I sit there with a bag of popcorn and just watch?
Yeah, it can be interesting. There was
who needs Netflix when you have this?
Years ago when we were the bearded family was a little bit down on its luck and we were living with the in-laws and family was in and they were downstairs and they were playing Rook and they were playing Rook. And I was on the computer with my sisters and a friend of mine from England. And we were just talking, and he said, "Go downstairs and tell them I can hear them all the way in England." So because it got heated, it really does.
The invention of Skype is such a fantastic thing. I think it pushed forward a lot of things. And here may be a tad bit controversial as far as traditions go. It probably doesn't really fit, but traditionally, a lot of people use Skype. Now, answer me this. Why, when the pandemic started, did people stop using Skype and go for other means of communication?
I don't know. I don't know if I don't know.
Like, but think about it.
Again, we're talking a lot about chocolate gravy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's necessarily a tradition or not, but my father-in-law is traditionally hard to shop for at Christmas. Because he's the kind of guy who goes, I need a new this, that, or the other. And before you can buy one, get it wrapped and have it for me, he's like, hey, look at my new whatever,
Yeah.
So, tradition, I guess maybe it is a tradition to try to find a gift that he hasn't already bought for himself.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Well, we have turned him into a semi knife collector, I think, as of
True.
yet, because that's always a good gift for him. He likes them, he uses them, he carries them. It just works. Now,
Now,
like,
I'm not going to say what we bought him a couple of years ago, but it's the only time I ever remember my father-in-law going, I'd really like to have one of these and maybe one of these. And just because of the grace of God and a little bit of Christmas bonus, I was able to do something for him that I would have not have ever been able to do before.
I remember now.
And the look on his face was like perfect. Right?
Yeah, no, it was like he's enjoyed gifts that we've gotten him before, but I've never seen him look like that before. Because it
Almost had that childlike Christmas morning look, didn't he?
Yeah. We mentioned knives. Let's just say it was probably a step up from that, and everyone else in the household was like, don't know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't care.
Yeah.
But, again, please put your favorite tradition or whatever in the comments. Let us know. Maybe you all come up with something that BUBBZI and I want to go, hey, that's cool. We need to do that. Right.
Oh.
Or maybe, maybe we've talked about chocolate gravy for the last 20 minutes and you guys are already looking up recipes on Google so that you can try. And if you have never tried it, let us know when you do. If you have tried it, let us know what you think.
Also, I'm going to say this right now. If your social battery gets low during family get-togethers and holidays, you have to hit the subscribe button right now. Okay? Just saying.
That's true. Yeah.
Okay, I understand it's not fun. I just had Friendsgiving. That was part of what the break was I was actually going out of town to see friends. Here's the thing: I had to drive 12 plus hours to get there. Here's the thing: I had to drive about 4 hours by myself. By about the 6th hour of in the car, my social battery was already dead, and then I had to meet more people. It was fantastic. I love them. I miss them dearly. I would love to see them again. But oh my gosh, I sat there just like. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of. I just have one thing to say about that.
Yes.
Pickle.
Oh yeah, we haven't even got to that point yet. Oh
No, we're getting there. We're getting there. I think we're probably doing better on time than we ever have. But we're just having a good time, and we're talking about the traditions, man. We're just talking about what's great, what's awesome, what's and it wouldn't be us if we didn't talk about the weird side of traditions. I mean, I don't really think that we have any weird traditions in our family outside of the fact that we're actually family, but, but, and I will say this before we go on, before we talk about some of the strange stuff, Bubs.
okay.
My favorite tradition at Christmas is watching people enjoy what I give them. You know me, I would much rather give gifts than receive gifts. I don't receive well. But again, like with my father-in-law, with your grandfather, why we didn't record it, I don't know. But like I said, he had that look like, the same look that kids get when they open up that present that they've been asking for every day, 100 times a day for 10 months. Like, I want this,
Well,
and,
I will
go ahead.
say, I think the good thing about like our family, at least with holidays and things like that, we actually have a good habit because a lot of people, even when things are going on, like you see a lot of people on their phones, like there's usually not somebody living in the moment. They're living through the screen sometimes.
True.
And I'd say we have a really good habit of, okay, we're together, phone's going down, we're going to talk, even if it's one-on-one, even if it's multiple people, or like, before they moved, like we would spend time, like my grandfather hustling me and Isaiah at pool, hustling
he's
us.
good that way.
Yeah, he's really nice. He's really good. I just can hit cue ball and,
Well, I mean, and I'm going to say it, and I'm probably going to talk a little bit more when we get ready to get done. I don't know. There's no way I could possibly know what your all's family traditions are, or what your tradition is. And I know a lot of times when we get around Christmas, they call it the silly season for a reason because people lose their minds at Christmas time. I mean, I've seen people fighting over a stuffed animal.
Black Friday, oh my God. I will not.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's a reason I shop digitally. I shop
Yeah.
online. There's a reason for this. Okay.
Well, what I'm getting at is if I can't know what your tradition is, but if you have one tradition, then that's spend it with your family.
Yeah.
Now, some of you may go, well, you don't know my family. And if you go back in the list, look at the podcast called Family. BUBBZI and I said it the best way I know how. Not all blood is family, and not all family is blood.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can choose who is in your inner circle. You can choose who is a part of your family. Or we'll just say it to go with this particular podcast. You can choose who gets to be a part of your tradition. Right?
Fax, no printer, my guy.
No matter what is going on, no matter what the tradition is, whether it's cutting the tail end off of the ham or whether it's fighting over chocolate gravy, let's be honest. The best tradition you can have is spending it with people you care about. Simple as that. And I wanted to throw that out there before we got into the weird, because I like the weird. I like the funny, what else can you say but pickle?
Well, I mean, we're like 41 minutes into the weird, so this is going to be the weirder, okay? I do apologize, I guess.
We are a little weird.
I mean, have you seen us? Of course we're weird.
Right. So let's kind of look at it a little bit. I've hinted, I've teased, and let me see if I can find this real quick. This is on, I'm assuming it's Heifer International is the page that came up.
Heifer International.
I know. It's got a picture of a cow on it too, I swear. It says delightfully weird holiday traditions around the world. Number 1 at the top. Decorating your Christmas tree with pickles. It says, if you've perused the Christmas section of any ornament selling store, you probably, I would say more like maybe, have seen at least one sparkling glass pickle. And I have seen them. I have seen one. I am not going to lie.
That's not where my
says,
brain
what's
went.
the deal with that? Popularly touted as an old world German tradition. The Christmas pickle, or I'm thinking it's white. I can't even say it. Weihnachtsgucker or Gurky or Gherkin or something. I can't say it. Is hidden deep within the boughs of the Christmas tree. And on Christmas Eve for the children to find on Christmas morning. The first one to spy the briny bauble gets a special gift or is given the honor of opening the first present. Now, I don't know. It says, it talks about doesn't know whether it's true or not. But as with some traditions, it says that most people today, as of 2016, have totally forgotten about the tradition. So, BUBBZI, my love for pickles. What do you think about pickles in your Christmas tree?
First of all, when you mentioned pickles on a Christmas tree, that's not where my mind went. Okay. All I began to imagine, large, kosher dill, full. I'm talking not wedges, not spears. I'm talking full pickles.
Kosher deal. I'm just saying.
Okay. And then you said covered Christmas tree. And I was thinking they just made ornaments. They probably didn't dry them off. There's just a bunch of pickle juice dropping down the tree. I was like, the smell is probably horrendous. If you have pets, I'm so sorry.
Are you saying that it's a mixture of pine and pickle?
Oh, it's going to be gross.
Well, I mean, now, according to the tradition, they hid it in the tree and somebody had to find it and then they got a special gift or the honor of opening the first present, whatever. It just all depends on, and again, most people have forgotten. And I just thought it was funny. That's the only reason I brought it up.
I can see why they would forget it. My gosh.
Well, a lot of people drink that spiked eggnog at Christmas. So maybe they went from hiding the pickle to being pickled.
I think if we're going to talk about just weird traditions, especially around holidays, we have to talk about Elf on the Shelf, at least a little bit.
How did you know I had that pulled up on the page?
Because our brains are linked.
Go for it.
That, and by the laws of time theory, this podcast has already happened.
That's what, 4 references to time theory in this
Boom,
podcast?
boom, boom, man. I'm hitting them like bang, bang.
But go for it, man. Let's talk about Elf on the Shelf.
Okay, first of all, if you haven't seen the meme, you need to see not only Elf on the Shelf, but a Trooper on the Pooper. Okay. But here's the thing. I get like the whole like, oh, he moved whole thing with kids, but the whole more
I think
like
it's creepy.
the whole more the sinister side of it, I think is a lot more funny. Because you have people putting them in like places, you know, tiny, like, give him a lightsaber, specifically a red lightsaber. At one point, put him in places that obviously he should not be able to be in, but you need to also be able to move it at a moment's notice. Okay, I'm talking quick change, like Boomy's in one place, Boomy's in another. That means you at least probably have to have 3 or 4, okay, with easy access and removability, but also in crazy locations, okay? But freaking your kids out during the holidays, okay? He probably never did this to me, but oh my gosh, now that is a prank.
No, only
okay?
at Easter.
Yeah, by the way, like if we're gonna... I don't know what... Okay, if you ever were... I think this was like preschool or whatever. If you were my teacher in preschool, thank you for being who you are, but also... why? Okay, what was it? St. Patrick's Day. I'm talking tiny little footprints on the ceiling, the walls.
Yeah, that's more dedication than I have.
Bro, what? Like,
Well,
now, if you
like I
take
said-
that level and then just do it to mess with people, just think about it.
Right, I know.
Oh
I
my
know.
gosh.
And that's the whole purpose of Elf on a Shelf. It's funny in the fact that it's meant to mess with people's minds. Personally, if they had done that when I was a kid, I would have thought that was just a way tad too creepy. And the first moment that I caught Elfie on his own, he would have disappeared.
That's why
I'm just saying.
Well, see, and here's the thing. 3 or 4, maybe 5. 1 definitely has to be a little bit burnt up that you never use in case you find the kid burning it. Like, 1 has to be like, has like an extra mouth. Yeah. Like, dude, there's so much like potential. Now, I know that's like, oh my gosh, you're going to scare the living bejesus out of your kid. Possibly. But like, dude, if you're gonna like try to find your Christmas presents, you're gonna get scared for it. Of course, if you were like me, if you were like me, I just was like, sure, Christmas presents will hopefully be at the tree. I don't think I ever went looking for Christmas presents.
I think you did a couple of times, but the ones that we knew that you would look for, we hid at other people's houses. So
yeah, no, like we were talking about, like favorite Christmases. They hid, what was it? It was this monsoon black and green bike.
Oh, the mongoose or whatever?
Mongoose, yeah, dude. One of my favorite gifts of all time. Had no clue that it was appearing till they opened the door, and I'm looking away from the door at this time. So the door's behind me. Cold rush of air, first thing like 5 a.m. Christmas morning, and in walks this bike. I immediately try to get on it. It's ice cold. And I was like, oh, gonna do that one. Yes. So, like, still one of my favorite Christmas memories of all time. But gosh, was that thing cold. Both in, like, icy, but also, like, you know.
All right. BUBBZI, I have another food-related Christmas tradition from around the world. This one's from Japan.
Is it about like fruitcake? Because like, please just throw out fruitcake. Okay.
This one is from Japan.
All right.
So did you know that an estimated 3.6 million Japanese families treat themselves to a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken for Christmas.
I have a feeling it's probably like the polar opposite for what we do, where it's like that's the only thing that's open.
Yeah. Well, no, it said in 1974, American fast food chain unveiled their Kentucky for Christmas marketing campaign in Japan. The story goes that KFC spread the idea that it's a time-honored Western tradition to celebrate Christmas with fried chicken. I don't have a problem with that, by the way. Although only about 1% of people in Japan identify as Christian, there was an exotic appeal to the campaign and it took off. Today, the tradition is so popular, it's highly recommended to place your Christmas Day orders well in advance.
Okay, so first of all, you lied to an entire populace. Second of all, I'm not the biggest fan of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Now, don't get me wrong. It has a time and
True.
place. Like there's just sometimes where it's like, all right, I am in the mood for just grease and fried food. Okay.
But the simple fact of the matter is, I mean, yeah, they kind of stretch the truth a little bit.
Yeah.
But 3.6 million Japanese people today still do it as a tradition. I mean, you got to figure this started in 1974. So this tradition has been handed down since 1974.
Mm. All
I
right.
don't know. I just think it's cool.
I mean, it's interesting. Thank you for repping the great state of Kentucky.
Come on,
Please take away my allergies. Thank you.
please.
Oh my gosh.
All I want for Christmas is no more allergies, no more allergies.
I'm just saying, if I wake up for the next, 3 days without the sniffles, I would greatly appreciate it.
He would think something was wrong if he woke up without the sniffles.
True. Because you have to understand, I not only have like really bad seasonal allergies, I have allergies just to Kentucky, basically.
That's true. Now,
Yeah.
again, if you have some weird, outrageous, crazy, funny Christmas tradition, pop it in the comments. Let us know where it comes from and all that. Now, I did a couple that were just, food related, BUBBZI, but we're talking about traditions, silly, strange, whatever you want it. I think some of them are cute, but these are actual traditions that people wrote into and shared with BuzzFeed. Right. And I
Okay.
think it's kind of cool. For example, one of them says, my grandpa would always go up on the roof about an hour after our bedtime and stomp around with sleigh bells. That's dedication, man. Right. They're planting the dream.
Here's the thing. That happened more than once, I'd have a plan.
Every year. I know.
I
think
would
this got made into
a
a movie at some
plan.
point. And I think it was called The Santa Claus.
Okay, first of all, we didn't even talk about like
That's
the
a family. That's a
That's
tradition. Movies are a
tradition.
tradition.
Like, okay, so for us, I'd have to say we have to talk about the Beard's basically favorite movie of all time, Christmas Carol.
A Christmas Carol.
Oh my gosh.
1955 with Alistair Sims, the best Christmas movie ever made.
Yeah, so like
I said it.
it is a family tradition that we watch those. Mama Beard has tried to make it also family tradition that we watch the Christmas cartoons. I sadly am not a big fan of the Christmas cartoons. I'm sorry. They're great. But after like the 80th time of put one foot in front of the other, I'm kind of I'm okay. But here's the thing. I believe what is it? White Christmas? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no.
Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye.
Oh, now
Good
we watch that yearly, just like A Christmas Carol. That has turned into a tradition. I use that in place of the cartoon movies. Just saying.
Don't forget, It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart.
Mm-hmm. But we also have to talk about like just the Santa Claus movies, like even just watching the trilogy, like that's great. There also, I don't understand, okay, because I'm not part of that generation. But what are the people that weren't probably brought up on Polar Express like?
See, I liked Polar Express. and I know this is going to get people all tore up, and maybe it's just me, but there's something a little creepy about Polar Express to me.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I
used to doing some volunteer work, worked at a concession stand. We had hot chocolate during the winter. I'm not going to lie that I sung, "We got it hot, hot, hot. We got it hot," and it did work. I'm just saying. Okay, we sold out of hot chocolate compared to every other concession stand because I was this man, because I am who I am. I don't know why, it just happens. But here's the thing: the little nerdy dude, I hated him as a child. I kind of hate him now, but I think he's really funny. Great comedic relief. But I saw this TikTok the other day where somebody worked at a library. You know how they normally have those like big watch things of, like, we're going to read the story, we're going to watch the movie, it's all going to work out. You ever?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay. Saw on TikTok, this lady was working at the library and she's posting a sad TikTok because no one showed up to it.
Ooh.
Like, I'm talking not a soul. She had like hot chocolate out the wazoo. I'm talking like production stuff,
Here's the deal. We live in a culture right now that people are afraid of everything. And at least that's my opinion. I need to throw that out there so somebody doesn't get mad thinking I'm generalizing, but
all I'm hearing is bah humbug.
And yeah, and that's kind of what it's turned into at Christmas time. But again, I said it a minute ago. I'm going to say it again, and I'll probably say it again before we get done. If you're going to do any kind of tradition, do it with people that you love and people that you care about. Yeah. And don't be afraid to be with the people that you love, because we all need that love. We need that connection, or we do turn into Ebenezer Scrooge. I mean, if you've ever seen the movie, that's my favorite movie. Right? He turned into this cranky old man because he lost every human connection he had for the longest time. Mm-hmm. We have to have that kind of stuff. We have to have the stuff that makes us laugh, the stuff that lifts us up, the stuff that warms our heart. And, the fact that nobody would go out and spend time at this event because, well, this might happen or that might happen. And I'm not putting a name on it. I'm not going to say any name about anything that would be the cause. What I'm saying is they were so afraid of what might happen that nothing happened.
Well, it might not even be that. It could just be like I said, it could be kids who weren't brought up on Polar Express don't realize
if you don't do these things with your children. I mean, BUBBZI probably doesn't enjoy it now, or probably wouldn't like it now. But I mean, we used to go to the library and get movies for us to watch. I mean, I'm talking movies like Oklahoma. 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 Okay. I mean, musicals, all these different kinds of things, because we have to have all this stuff so that you can decide what you really like for yourself. And again, BUBBZI's a computer nerd. BUBBZI likes, his computer. He likes hanging out with his friends. But we can't just hang out in our rooms all the time. We have to have that interaction, that human connection. And that's one of the things that I think Christmas should always be about, is connecting with those that are important to you and connecting with those things that keep it important to you, like chocolate gravy, like Christmas movie night, like hot chocolate with your friends, like whatever the case may be. I mean, let me give you another one of these little stories, bud. It says every Christmas, the kids in the house have wrapping paper put over the entrances to their rooms so they get to rip through it in the morning. I guess they have their own football kind of thing. But it says it was originally started as a way to keep a certain kid in his room when he kept coming out early and opening up presents before everyone else was awake.
The only thing that I'm thinking is just Kool-Aid Man. Oh, yeah!
Right. But I mean, it started for one thing, but now it's become something else. I mean, as a 2 or 3 year old, 4 or 5, whatever, BUBBZI, I know you well enough to know that you would have thought that was the coolest thing to have to bust out of your room to get to the Christmas presents.
Here's the thing. Would have been fantastic. The only problem that I could see with it is if your bedroom is the closest to the stairs.
Yay, it's Christmas.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I've taken a couple tumbles down the stairs. A lot of them were in my youth. A couple of them were in, teenage years. I felt that go boom, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking me, Kool-Aid Man. Oh yeah, trucking it through.
Well, I think it'd be great.
You know.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give one more, and then we're gonna go because I thought that I kind of like this idea.
Okay.
This family says we play shake or present. You get to shake one present and ask yes or no questions. If you figure out what it is before Christmas, you get to open it early.
See, here's the problem.
That sounds like a fun tradition. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but like, imagine if it's something expensive.
Well, then you better not shake it too hard, and you better ask the right yes or no questions. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You know, but it's all fun and games, you know, guys. I mean, it's all about what brings you together as a family. It's all about what you share with each other. And again, before somebody else says it, you get to choose who your family is. You get to choose who you share. Well, let's just say you get to choose who you share the tradition that is you. I mean, because if you think about it, if you go to every family dinner, if you go to every family holiday, guess what? You're a tradition. Because they expect to see you there. They look forward to seeing you there. And that's the way most traditions are. Okay. I mean, unless you got an Uncle Bob or whoever, you know, that traditionally goes to jail at Christmas, that might not be one you might want to perpetuate. You might want to let that one go. I don't know. But I miss the traditional family Christmases. I miss the family getting together, putting up the tree. And I'm bad about that. I am a little bit of a Scrooge at Christmas. It's something in my makeup. And I'm not picking on Mama Beard or BUBBZI or anybody, but there are things about the traditional family Christmases that I miss. I miss BUBBZI being little and the joy and awe when he opens up his presents. I do not miss the aggravation of trying to put that stupid race car track together till 4 o'clock in the flipping morning because it wouldn't go together. But it made him smile, so it was worth it. But it's not a tradition I want to repeat.
Here's the thing about that race track, guys. I played on that thing till 9 p.m. that night. Okay. Like,
He did.
Oh
For
my
hours.
Oh, it had a loop. It had a loop. Okay, it was dope.
Yeah.
It connected to the mantle. Gravity did the thing, and it went. Woo! Okay.
Yeah. So it's
fantastic.
I mean, see, that's the thing. Where, you know, again, this is the holiday season. We all get a little up, down sometimes at holidays. I think we think about the people who aren't there. We think about the people, you know, that have gone on, or maybe they're just somewhere else. But that's the cool thing about traditions, y'all, is that I haven't got myself to do it yet. But I remember exactly how my grandmother used to cook hams for Christmas. And I haven't talked myself into doing it yet because I'm afraid that it won't measure up. And I don't want to ruin the memory. But those things are the stuff that we need to pass it on. This is, you know, like this is Mama Fanny's ham. This is how she did it. You know, she put a lot of love in it because she fixed it this way and that way. And that's what traditions do. It brings those people that are no longer with us for whatever reason. It brings them into that moment. Mm-hmm. It brings back those good memories, not just, oh man, I wish they were here, because they are. Right? You know, one of my grandmother's favorite thing was to feed people, and she gets so mad if you wouldn't eat. Right? So she was always a giver in that way. And there's things that, you know, we can do. So I don't know what your tradition is. I don't know who started it. I don't even know if there's no way I can know even if you know why the tradition started in the first place. But find out where it came from. Find out who started it so that you know when you're doing it, that you're bringing this person into the family today. Mm-hmm. Somebody who probably thought when they did this, never thought they would even be remembered in 20 or 30 years. right? But traditions are an amazing thing. You know, light your Christmas tree, make your dinners, laugh, find the recipe, make chocolate gravy for the first time or the 100th time. You know, maybe it's grandma's pecan pie or pumpkin pie.
Sweetest
But pass
apple
that
pie.
along to the ones that are coming after.
Mhm.
See, that's one of the things about chocolate gravy. It's always going to be my mother-in-law for me, right? Because she's the one that first made it for me. So every time we do it, she's right there. Every time. So pick who you want to be a tradition to. Pick who you want to start a tradition with. And enjoy the holidays. Have fun. Laugh about it. Hide a pickle in your tree. I don't care. You know,
Hide a pickle. Hide a pickle. Hide it.
have KFC for, you know,
Or Chinese.
Yeah, or have Chinese. You know, whatever you all want to do, whatever you all want to share, however you want to do it. Order some Chinese food and watch Christmas movies all day long. Whatever, but spend it with the people that you love. That's the tradition that you have to have. It's not about all the other stuff. It's spending it with people that you love.
Yeah.
And you get to pick. So here's the thing, guys. Like I said, we've got the weeks planned out. If there's anything you want us to talk about in the coming year, I need you to drop it in the comments. Let us know what you would like to hear about. And if you can't do it on YouTube, then find me on TikTok. Find BUBBZI on TikTok. He's going to give you his socials in a minute. Mine's pretty simple. It's the THE Caffeinated Beard on TikTok, pretty much on YouTube, on Instagram. That's just me. But let us know. You know, we want this to be a tradition. We want you guys to be a part of our family. And I said it, we're choosing to spend it with you. And we're tickled to death to be a part of your family. And we're tickled to death to have you a part of ours. But find us on social media, right? Check us out. Let us know what you think. And, you know, this ain't nothing new for the ones that have been here. If this is your first time, you're going to hear it 1,000 more probably. But if you've been here with us this long, if you stayed with us this far, from this time till the next time, welcome to the family.
Oh boy, a new episode.
You know. Oh, this was a good episode. I definitely think it was a good episode. We also want to thank our sponsors because we have CustomBeardCo as well as Caffeinated. Thank you guys so much. You have provided us not only with great beard care, but also fantastic caffeination throughout the year and the specialties. The great flavors. That's all I'm gonna say. But you can find our links to their stores down in the description. That can be on like Spotify, everything, YouTube. But it's, I don't, do you remember the website for CustomBeardCo off the top of your head?
CustomBeardCo.com and Coffeetarian.store.
Yes. And you can also find the codes that you can use down in the description. CustomBeardCo's Caffeinated Beard. That's 15% off any $15 or more on their store. And for Coffeetarian, it is code BEARD. That's for, I believe, $10 off your first coffee order.
10% off your first
10%.
coffee.
Oh!
Yeah, 10% off your first coffee order.
But my name is BUBBZI. He's the Beard. He's already given his socials. You can find me at ITSBUBBZI. That's It's BUBBZI. That's basically on everything. We're talking TikTok, Twitch, which thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Twitch streams occasionally. I am coming back.
You guys.
Oh my gosh. Instagram, Twitter. I don't post on Instagram. I'm sorry. I don't like taking pictures. I take pictures of things. That's usually how it works. Twitter is just random. Haha, I made funny joke in the head. But you can also find my YouTube. It's just BUBBZI. Just BUBBZI. But as we have ended every episode, he does his little thing, and I go, "This has been the Caffeinated Podcast." Bye, guys.
See ya.